All right. There is so much we need to talk about Jamal. But first, let's give a thanks to Rob Ducey.
Rob, that was awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Rob.
Rob is officially our Nuggets insider.
He is the Nuggets insider. There's a lot we'll talk about that. The fact that he had the different videos, he has the timeline. But I have to pull up his Twitter really quick because here on Small Ball, we give love to those who give love to us.
Yes.
So Rob on Twitter, he is Rob Dimmadome. Give him a follow.
How do you spell Demodome?
Yeah, it's Rob and then Dimmadome. Dimmadome. Rob
right.
Dimmadome.
There we go.
Like from Fairly Odd Parents.
From Fairly Odd Parents. He tweets about Denver Nuggets, everything. His most recent tweet, it is, I'm so in love with Dua Lipa.
Wow, he's a man of great taste.
I'm following.
Yeah. So he is a trusted follower. Rob, seriously, if you're watching or listening, thank you so much. Let's talk about Jamal Murray because there's a lot there. We've seen the clips. Let's open up this can of worms. What are our thoughts on Jamal Murray?
I think we should just go around real quick and say just a quick, do you like Jamal, yes or no? And then we'll start from there. Okay, so I like Jamal.
I like Jamal.
I think Jamal's okay.
No, say it.
Say it.
I think Jamal's okay.
No, say it.
I do. I think he people overrate him though. I don't think he's as great as people
Say you don't like him.
It's not that I don't like him. I wanted the Kings to draft him. I liked his interviews. I liked him in college.
No. Do it for the bit.
Can you do it for the bit?
Yeah, just
What do you want me to say?
I don't like Jamal.
I don't like Jamal.
Okay,
Thank you.
boom.
Oh, I love Jamal.
Oh, thank you, Andy.
Okay, so you have a black sheep in the room.
Ooh, okay. Trev, let's start with you. What about Jamal? Do you not like? Do you not think he fits? Just to get that conversation going.
Why is he overrated?
Well, here's the thing: is before I even give what I have to say, because my whole argument is not to bash Jamal. I think he's a fine NBA player. Like I said, I intentionally used the language earlier when we spoke on this past season.
I ignored it.
They were missing some great role players, and you guys seem to think he's more than that. Please tell me what you guys think, and based on what you guys believe, I can then tell you what I think. Because I don't think I like Jamal Murray. I think he's a good NBA player. I don't think he's like a star. He's not an all-star for a reason. Please tell me what you guys think.
So I think Jamal Murray is the perfect number 2 option.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. So here's why. Here's some evidence to back it up. Let's first talk about the bubble. Rob does a great job in the video too, talking about a couple 50-point games against Utah and the impact he played, the separation he makes. That's really where the catalyst started for Jamal Murray. Because he did have some highs and lows before that. You look at the season after, and it was his first season that we've talked about, Trev, averaged over 20 points per game, and that's right where you need Jamal to be. He doesn't need to be a 25 points per game scorer. He doesn't need to be a 30 points per game scorer. 20 points per game is good enough for Denver to be a championship team with other pieces in place. And I know you give me eyebrows, but let's look at Klay Thompson last year, 20 points per game. Chris Middleton the year before, 20 points per game. So scoring-wise and defensively, is he on the same level? Probably not. But scoring-wise, that is enough to be a number 2 option for an NBA championship team.
Okay. I also just want listeners to know, Scott, I love you. And you know that. Mm-hmm. And so this conversation, I just want to clarify that. Now, I don't think Jamal Murray is a top 15 number 2 option in the NBA.
Wow.
All right, so name the 15.
Okay, Thank you. Chris Middleton, Anthony Davis, Paul George, Chris Paul, CJ McCollum, Zach
Chris Paul averaged 17 points per game, by the way. Go ahead.
Chris Paul's so much better than Jamal Murray. Okay, we'll keep going. I'll continue. Zach LaVine, Drew Holiday.
Who's
the
number
even
one?
A third option.
Wait, who's the number 1 in Chicago? DeMar
DeRozan.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown, Bam Adebayo, James Harden, DeJounte Murray, Darius Garland, Klay Thompson, Anthony Edwards. De'Aaron Fox, maybe.
I don't agree with the last two.
Okay, fine.
But
Well, I just want to throw out.
So how can a perfect number 2 be the 13th or 14th best number 2 in
because
the
he
NBA?
fits the system perfectly.
And also, you got to look at the number one. The number
You've
one
gotta
is a
look at the number
two-time
one.
MVP champion.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
we're talking
different.
Jamal though. We're not talking about we're not talking about Nikola Jokic. We're talking about Jamal Murray as a player.
And he's the perfect fit in Denver.
Perfect fit in Denver. Okay.
Yeah. As the number 2.
I think Jamal Murray's fine. I don't think he's like some great star player. That's what I'm trying to say. Here's a comparison. You want to hear my spicy comparison?
Yeah. Trevor was talking about this before.
Here's a guy. I have a guy who had a great playoff series, great playoff run. And come to find out, he actually had a season just like Jamal. One season above 20 points per game. Jamal Murray's highest points per game was a season where he averaged 21 points per game. This player averaged 20 points per game. This player has a 19 point per game season and an 18 point per game season. Jamal Murray has a 21, as I mentioned, and 2 18 point per game series seasons. It's Terry Rozier.
Oh my God.
Scary Terry and Jamal Murray, I think, are more similar.
I do have a question. Have you watched Jamal and Jokic play enough to make this take? Because Jamal and Jokic, what makes them so great is their pick and roll is unstoppable. And that's where a key piece of this is not being talked about is like, we can talk about, Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier very much is, I'm going to do it myself. Jamal and Jokic have perfect team chemistry that you don't see really with anyone else.
I agree completely. My argument isn't against the connection that him and Nikola Jokic have. My argument isn't against his fit in Denver. So we could push that to the side. I'm talking about Jamal Murray as a player. I don't think he's a star. I think he's a good fit. It's the same thing in the quarterback discussion.
Question though. Terry Rozier, was he the number 1 option when he averaged that 21 points per game?
No, that was in 2018.
Well, my question is, if you had a team, let's take the Hornets for example, and your backcourt's LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier. Will that be a team that's LaMelo Ball and Jamal Murray? Those two names together, you'd be like, whoa, the Hornets? Their backcourt is nuts. You don't say that about Terry Rozier. He's just a guy who's on a bad team who just shoots the ball because there's no one else.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we should be talking about Jamal Murray like, oh my gosh, he's nuts. He had one season that he averaged 21 points per game.
He almost averaged 50, 40, and 90.
I don't think he's.
I feel like you got to look at the playoffs too. I mean,
he had a good playoff
seasons. Like
it wasn't good. It was incredible.
Incredible series against the Jazz.
It was incredible series, and he did that against 2 of the best defenders in the NBA. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Those clips we saw against Rudy Gobert, against LeBron James, against Kawhi Leonard, and he does that. He does that often, and so.
I could find some really cool clips of Terry Rozier.
But here's something that Jamal Murray does that they have missed greatly. For Denver when he was playing, no one else in Denver was even close to the drives to the basket for 10 drives to the basket per game. That was something Denver greatly missed. It's just, I don't really think you understand the point that Jamal, in Denver, is perfect. So he might not be the best point guard, but he is an incredible player.
Well, also
he's a great NBA player.
He's a really, really good NBA player.
He's a great NBA player.
What's great? Who else is great?
Nikola Jokic is amazing.
Okay.
Steph Curry.
Steph
Curry's great.
I'm just trying to think what level of player is he on? Because I named 13 players that I said I think are better, and you
Andy,
agreed.
you got something?
I'm just trying to figure out what level are you putting him on? Because I think he's really good too, but what level is he on? You mentioned the strongest thing you had, 50, 40, 90. He never averaged 50, 40, 90.
I said he was close to 50,
close
40,
to.
90. He was 87% from the free throw line. It was 47% from the field and 30, 90, 39, 40%.
Yeah,
so which is close.
That was a really great shooting clip that season.
Yeah,
That was the 21
which was his
point.
most recent one. And we expect players who are young to improve on the season that they've had. That's what we do for every NBA player, which I don't get. For Jamal, though, Trevor, for Jamal, you expect him to get worse. And that's what I don't get. Every other player, you say, oh, they are going to greatly improve, or they are Anthony Edwards is expected to do this. But for Jamal, all of a sudden, you go, yeah, he's done this one thing. It's expected to decline, is your kind of rhetoric. And that doesn't make sense.
I never said he's expected to decline.
But that's how you're talking.
No, my argument this whole time has been I don't think he's as great as other people, and I don't think from what I've seen he's going to get there. He's coming off of an ACL injury too.
And that's a different topic. We're talking about.
Oh, you're talking about decline and incline.
But I still think he's going to improve.
Okay.
I think he's going to improve.
Okay. And if he does, great. But I'm talking about right now where he stands, because you've said.
Where do you see his fit in Denver, though?
I think he's a great fit in Denver. I've said that already on the show. But what I'm saying is you said he's a perfect number 2, which you meant that as far as fit in Denver. Okay, I misheard you on that.
He is.
As far as a number 2 option, though, like I've already named guys that I think are better than him. But
that's for anyone. Like Klay Thompson, if he goes to a bad team, he's still number 2.
Well, recent Klay. A couple years ago, Klay, like before the injuries.
But still, like that's an argument for just about any player given their circumstances.
I feel like when talking about players right now, it should be focused on recency. It shouldn't be what did they do, years ago. Like you mentioned, like how Chris Paul is better than Jamal, which I would agree. But like in comparison to like this year and what Chris Paul is going to be next year, he's on his decline, and I would choose Jamal over CP3
for this season. Like if you had a team for this season, coming off of an ACL injury,
he's 25, 26 years old.
This isn't Derrick Rose ACL era.
I would hate for that to be the
science that has improved tremendously to where guys are coming off of injuries and they're still picking up where they last were. It's not like, he's going to be absolutely terrible or like there's not going to be that big of a drop that like Derrick Rose is.
Jamal Murray is a good NBA player. I've named people that I think are better than him, and I stand on that. I don't think he's a star. I don't think he's that. Maybe he is that. He's not that right now, and I know that I can stand on that, and I strongly believe that. As far as what he's going to be, that's not what this conversation's about, incline or decline.
No, I would like kind of listening to both sides of it. I think you guys are kind of both right on the other side. I don't think Jamal Murray is at the all-star level, but I do think he can be. And I think that he's going to show a lot of people like, hey, I can be a really great scoring option. And like, Scott, I hate to say this, but I would love to see Jamal on a different team. Like, just because I would want to see what type of player he really is when Jokic when he's not playing side by side against Jokic, right? Because that takes a lot of the offensive possessions away from him. And we've seen him cook. He can cook. And so I think it'd be really fun to be able to watch him play with other teams and things like that. But I mean, as for right now, he's good.
I think you bring up a great point too. Most point guards are ball dominant. Jamal Murray isn't ball dominant because the offense runs through Jokic, and so a lot of those stats and touches are so different in Denver versus if you played somewhere else, that would be a way more defining factor for who Jamal Murray is as a player, because like Donovan Mitchell in Utah, and I think Rob compared him and put him on the same level as Mitchell. I don't know, but Mitchell has the ball in his hands every possession. That's not the same for Jamal in Denver.
See, when I hear that, my mind goes to not like, okay, Jokic is holding him back. I feel like Jokic is a player that makes players around him better. So if anything, Jokic is elevating the game of Jamal Murray.
Possibly, but he'd probably elevate the game of Steph Curry. Like, he would do that with everyone.
Exactly.
I mean, he elevated the game of Morris.
Yeah, he did.
It's trade value. I mean, I see Jamal Murray with his skill level. I see him similar to like CJ, Zach LaVine. Who's another one I was just thinking of? Can't remember. But those players are really good players that can kind of do a little bit of everything. They can score all over the place. Yeah. Those are Donovan Mitchell. I would even throw Donovan Mitchell in that kind of grouping because that's just the type of player I see them as. They're guys that can score at every level, and they need a team around them to elevate them. And with playing against Jokic, and then you have MPJ, and you have Aaron Gordon, now KCP, guys that kind of fit each other's role and can fit perfectly. That's where we're going to see the elevation of Jamal Murray. So that's why I think this year he's going to have a bigger year, even though he's coming off an ACL. But the Nuggets still needed him. They needed his scoring. They needed
desperately
that chemistry, that bread and butter. Like Jokic and Jamal, you need a bucket. Let's go pick and roll. We have that now, and that's what makes the Nuggets kind of a scary team to me, because we don't know what they're going to be like this year. We just know they're going to be good, and if they stay healthy, they can make noise in playoffs and disrupt some things.
And what's funny too is Trev and I think have been arguing, but we also have just been talking about different things, because my perception will always be I love Jamal Murray, but my perception is I've always thought of him as just the perfect number 2, whereas your argument was different. You think he's at a certain level in the NBA, and I probably think he's different. I'm a biased Nuggets fan. Like that's how the conversation goes. But you bring up a great point of where Denver is and the team who they are. And this is a really good team. This is a really, really good NBA team. One last thing I want to talk about players is MPJ and his contract with Denver. I don't think this is as hot button of a topic conversation, because I think we all are probably in agreement that maybe MPJ got paid a little too much. But as a Denver fan, I do understand it. Because it's really hard to get free agents in Denver. That's why they're a mid-market to small market team. The biggest free agent Denver has had, I've talked about, is Paul Millsap. And so re-signing MPJ was saying, hey, we trust you. We trust in this window that we have. We trust you're going to develop and that you're going to help us bring a championship.
I think it was. I know that it looks like a lot of money. But if I'm Denver, I'm doing that deal.
I agree.
I know people are like against it, Twitter kind of, as
it's
gone on. Yeah, he gets memed, totally. But the guy shot 44% from deep in his last full season with the team, and he averaged 19 points per game. I believe his rookie year, he shot 42% or something like that from deep. He's shown enough that he deserves, like, you can't not re-sign him. What are you gonna do? Let the guy walk?
No chance.
You have to re-sign him, and that's the amount that he believes he's valued. He's 6'11", 6'10", and I mean, the flashes that he shows are crazy. So you can't let that guy walk. You have to give him the money, and you have to roll the dice. That's a risk that Denver was willing to take, and you have to take. Any team would have done that.
Any team.
I think we're only talking about it as a bad contract is because he got hurt. I mean, yeah, he's had injury history, and like you said, that's just the risk you have to take. He's a guy that I think fits well with Jamal and Jokic, and if those are the two cornerstones of your offense, you need to make guys around them fit their needs. And to get a floor spacer to let Jamal and Jokic have more room to cook, that's just what you have to do. I don't see how you can replace that caliber of scoring offense in free agency with Denver not being able to be a big enough market to attract these players.
Yeah. No, it makes total sense. And Denver's vision is kind of a big 3, right? Where you look at Boston from those years ago of KG and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, a very different type of big 3, but still 3 guys that you can count to get buckets, and that's what those 3 are. I do love Aaron Gordon in Denver, and finally Aaron Gordon gets to play more of a comfortable role. He was forced to really be the number 2, number 3 scoring option in Denver, and it's not really who he is. He can do it, but that's not really who he is.
He's one of the best defenders in the NBA.
He's awesome.
He's so fun. Just on both ends, he brings electricity to the offense, obviously, because he can fly out of the gym. But his defense is what stands out. His lateral quickness. He can guard people on the wing, and then even his inside defense, he's strong. He can get up and protect the rim. He's a player that I wish was on my team.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And I think with Aaron Gordon and then the addition of KCP, which makes it another great add, is like now you have 2 guys in your starting 5 that are just extremely solid defenders.
Oh, yeah.
And like we don't expect or need them to be offensive juggernauts. We just need them to play their role. And with what Mike Malone has created, that culture in Denver, everyone buys in, everyone knows their role. And that's what's going to elevate Denver Nuggets this year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And Jamal is actually just bringing him up just makes me laugh.
Man.
It's like PTSD. I'm like seeing shoppers from Vietnam. I'm like, oh no, I don't even want to say his name. Is actually a really solid defender. So him being the number 3 defender is great. And then MPJ is, yeah. And Jokic has his flashes actually on defense. He's just
Big body.
Yeah, big body. He's just susceptible in the pick and roll game, I would say, for Jokic. But still, he's not terrible. He's improved greatly from the past. Let's talk about what we expect Denver to do this season. In a highly contested Western Conference, assuming this team stays healthy, because injuries just kicked their you-know-whats last year, what are the expectations for the Denver Nuggets?
It's hard to say because the West is just all over the place. I feel like every time we do a podcast now of this traveling the U.S., we're all like, yeah, they're a top 5 team. like every team we do, top 5. A little concern that I have for the Nuggets is just a little bit of their bench. They have Bruce Brown coming off the bench, Ish Smith, and then you have some younger guys like Bones and Christian Brown, coming off the bench, and of course DeAndre Jordan. So I'm a little worried about their bench production, but I still think that they're going to be really good.
I love Bones, by the way. Go ahead.
Who doesn't? How can you meet someone named Bones and then not love him?
Not love him.
Yeah. But yeah, they're a top 5 team. They're with that being said, if they were the 6th seed last year and you bring back MPJ and Jamal, and then you also add KCP and Bruce Brown to your team, I think that's going to elevate your team a lot. And I'm going to lock them in at the 3.
Whoa! Top 3 team in the Western Conference.
Yep. This is regular season we're talking about. So.
Yeah. Dang. Christian, that was spicy, bro.
Oh, gosh.
No, I like the Nuggets. As I actually think that if they're healthy, they have one of the best starting 5s in the NBA for sure. You just look at that. You already named it off. Also, they're going to be kind of flashback to Lob City. DeAndre catching lobs.
Bruce Brown.
Aaron Gordon. Come on. Jokic is going to have a party, bro.
Yeah, he is.
New age.
Imagine that. Jordan, Gordon, and Jokic.
Dude.
3, 4, 5.
That is nice.
Honestly, Jamal Murray, I was watching some highlights, and Jokic was throwing some oops to Jamal, too. So anyone could jump.
Yeah.
He can yam. I got him around the 6th seed. I think that they're going to be good. Mike Malone's a solid coach, and if they're healthy, they're going to be pretty solid.
Hey, great job. You made it to the end of the video. We thank you so much for watching us here on the Small Ball Podcast. We're the only channel covering small to mid-market teams. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Find us on Instagram at Small Ball Podcast. Thanks so much, guys.